Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I'm going to be reviewing some gameplay I had from playing Ellie Arcane Holy Priest. So last video I uploaded, we were playing the Resto Druid. This video I uploaded, we're playing the Holy Priest. I kind of want to go over the difference, and because in the last video I talked about how I feel that Holy Priest is just a little bit stronger because it adds that extra Chastise stun into the composition. So it gives us a little bit of like, okay, stun, burst, kill, where the Resto Druid, it's literally just like, all right, let's live, let's live, let's live, let's live. Whereas in this composition, we can do a little bit more setup goes, maybe with polymorphs. On the healer or lock it on the healer, boom, stun the DPS, or if we want to stun that healer, do a big burst onto him into an Earthshock stun, or what we do actually a lot is Earthshock stun into the Chastise stun, into the Earthshock stun again, because Earthshock stun does not share diminishing return with that Chastise stun. So here, as you can see, the Chastise stun into the Chastise stun with Apotheosis from the Holy Priest, double stun onto Cheerios, the Demon Hunter. He got super low. That was Rallying Cry, Cenarian Ward, and his wall just to keep him alive there. And he's still under pressure. And now another stun onto the Warrior. And that's why Holy Priest is strong in this composition. And here's the thing, guys. The Holy Priest is getting stuns. Why? Because he's smiting. Look at this. Envy. Spam smiting onto the enemy warrior, one, creating pressure with those smites, but two, getting back his stun quicker. If you guys don't know how a Holy Priest works, that's how they generate their stun charges, is by casting those smites to reduce the cooldown. So, okay, then you might just be like, why don't they just stop the smites, right? Well, if they stop the smites, they only have two kicks, right? Warrior kick and Demon Hunter kick. If they use their kicks to stop the smites, then that's good for us, right? Because we're an Arcane Mage and an Elemental Shaman that can now free cast, and that's the strength of playing triple caster, is who do you shut down, right? You have two kicks. If you don't shut down the smites, you're going to get stunned. If you shut down the Arcane Mage, all right, you're going to stop Polys, maybe Mark of Illunits, maybe some mana regeneration, and some big Arcane Missile Burst. But then you have the Holy Priest and the Ellie Shaman free casting. Then if you shut down the Ellie Shaman, Ellie Shamans have 3 schools, so it's kind of hard to shut them down anyway. But if you kind of shut down the Ellie Shaman, and the Holy Priest and the Arcane Mage are free casting. So that's kind of why it's good at that Holy Priest, is because of that triple caster kind of, choice you have to make, is who do we want to shut down. Now, Oz, the Ellie Shaman, is really pressuring Maylol, the Resto Druid, on the enemy team. And in the meantime, we have the Mark of Illunith into the Chastise stun onto Cheerios. He's taking a ton of damage as well. We are doing a ton of DPS. The Resto Druid's already at 50% mana. You don't see that too often on the enemy team, just to try to keep his team afloat. But what I want to kind of mention here too is if this Resto Druid, pokes out a little bit too long, or if this Resto Druid runs in and goes for a Cyclone, boom, we stun him with that Earthshock stun to set up into that Chastise, into the Rear Shock, and he can just die. So right here, like as you see, the Resto Druid's kind of in the middle from that knock. We could potentially stun the Druid into a huge burst onto him. Now, he still has Skin, he still has Trinket, but that's something that we can definitely look towards in the future. Warbanner's down, we kill it. I want to make sure to keep that slow up on the enemies whenever I'm bursting into them for that 15% increased damage. Once again, I mentioned this in the last video, but Frost Shock, Earthbind Totem, any slow counts for that increased damage from Torment the Weak, not just my slow. But this Resto Druid's definitely hurting. He's kind of sitting on the pillar, and he's pretty close. So if he comes out, that would be our opportunity to swap onto him, like right about here. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. We get the Chastise stun onto him at 80% life. He's not too scared because the Ellie Shaman's kind of across the map, so he's actually holding his Skin and holding his Trinket. However, I know this, so I pop Arcane Power, and I'm doing as much damage as I can onto him. I get Warrior Feared, I Trinket immediately, pop my Presence of Mind, my double Arcane Blast, and I come right next to him to Blood Elf Silence, and we also throw the Earthshock stun. The reason why this is so powerful, guys, is that Earthshock stun does not share diminishing return with any other stun in the game, including the Chastise stun. So it's a 5-second Chastise stun into a 2-second Earthshock stun. So it's a 7-second stun in total, and we have that Blood Elf Silence. And then if my Priest Envy gets another Chastise stun off of that, a half stun, and then to another Earthshock stun, and then my Priest has a Blood Elf Silence, you see how all of these things could really lead up to a kill. But unfortunately for May LOL here, he does go Bear Form, does decide to Trinket, but he dies last second. So he probably should have either, 1, gotten more peels from his partners, or 2, Trinket at a higher life there. But that's kind of where our composition is strong, right? Because a lot of the times you don't know what to Trinket. Do you Trinket the 2-second Blood Elf Silence? Do you Trinket the 5-second stun when you are seemingly okay? What do you Trinket? I'm going to try to pause it here on the scoreboard. This is the damage breakdown. Elemental Shaman, or Elemental Shaman and Arcane Mage up here on the top of the damage, and then the Warrior and Demon Hunter a little bit below that. Alright guys, here we are on Dalaran Arena in another match against Prot Warrior, Arms Warrior, and Mistweaver Monk. If you guys haven't been paying attention to the meta recently, tanks have been super prevalent, and one of those compositions is this composition right here, either Prot Windwalker Mistweaver or Prot Arms Mistweaver. A lot of people, at least on the NA ladder, have been trying to queue this, and it's really good at just kind of rushing healers down, and a lot of compositions have a hard time dealing with this. However, with our composition, it's kind of what we talked about in that last matchup. Who do they train? They train me. I'll kite them all day. They don't really get to connect, and they don't really get to shut me down. My Holy Priest is generating a lot of stuns. They train the Holy Priest. We have Elemental Shaman spamming Earthquakes, Chain Lightnings, tons of damage, and Arcane Mage free to go for Sheeps on the Mistweaver and do burst on both Warriors. And they train the Ellie. It's kind of the same problem. So it's like, how do they really deal with a composition like ours? And it's difficult. I'm not exactly sure the best way for them to handle this, but they do decide to start onto Envy, the Priest, and my monk, the enemy monk is kind of pushing in. This is our strategy against them, and this is what you guys really need to keep an eye out for. Way of the Crane. Way of the Crane is just like Paladin melee wings. When they pop that, they're going to get tons of increased healing with the melee damage they deal. So, Way of the Crane monks, they push in, they pop Way of the Crane, makes them immune to stuns, so you can't really stun them, you can't really kill them, and everyone on the enemy team is going to be full HP when they pop that Way of the Crane. And they're going to do a lot of damage too. It's very scary. What do? You CC it. We're going to go for the polymorphs and go for CC on that Way of the Crane. We throw the full polymorph out onto the Way of the Crane, and guess what? We are just going to wait the way out. And then after the Way of the Crane, we can continue to deal our normal thing. I call out, I'm sheeping the Way of the Crane. We don't touch it, and then boom, we throw the stun after the Way of the Crane. With the Prot Warrior already low, we're switching to the Mistweaver. We're getting a ton of damage out onto him. There's the Mark of Illuminate. He does use his Human Trinket, but look at this, guys. The Human Trinket comes out into the stun from the Elemental Shaman, into the War Stomp, and into the Blood Elf Silence. So just so many micro CCs, and now their whole enemy team is under 50% life, and this is where they really rot. There's no way the Crane for another 15 seconds, so the enemy team's definitely in trouble until that next wave comes up. When that next wave comes up, guess what? We're going to sheep it again, sheep the monk, and then kind of go from there. Or there's no way the Crane for 4 more seconds. We could do a burst and just finish the game outright before the next Way of the Crane comes up. So it's kind of like, if he pops Way of the Crane, we're sheeping him back to full HP so we have to top both Warriors and continuing pressure on the Warriors, sheep him 3 times, bursting Mistweaver after. If not, we're going to try to just kill him and end the game right here. And I think that's what we're going to try to do. Boom, tons of damage comes in. He doesn't have Trinket for 2 seconds. This is that Earthshock stun that is so powerful. It's a 2-second stun. He let himself get the 50% life with no Trinkets and no Way of the Crane for 4 more seconds. All of the Arcane Missiles connect. Boom, he goes down. So that's how we're ending games fast as this composition. A lot of our games with the Resto Druid, as I showed you guys yesterday or the day before, are very long, dampening, drawn-out games because we're not really going for stun kills, and we don't have that Holy Priest pressure of that third caster. You could argue Resto Druid as the Cyclones, but we don't really want to Cyclone too much anyway. We want to really just survive and get that pressure. However, with the Holy Priest, we're able to really, turn the pressure onto them, force a lot of these cooldowns, and make it very scary for the enemy team to actually do anything. And that's why with the Holy Priest, guys, the games are ending so much quicker. These 2 games here, I was actually looking for a game to pick, and almost every single game we had was kind of finished in the first couple of minutes just because things like this were happening. We were getting the Earth Shocks, stuns into the Chastise, into the Blood Elf, into the Re-Earth Shock, and the enemy teams are kind of just not even using cooldowns a lot of the times, really taking them by surprise. But here's the damage breakdown. Arcane Mage actually coming out on top here. So much pressure, so much damage. And then a little bit lower here on the Ellie Shaman and both Warriors, obviously below that. But 2,700-ish MMR, so we're not even playing super low MMR, but we're just taking teams out with that Holy Priest. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you did not enjoy the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs down. I want to give a shout out to my partner, Envioso. He did just make it to LAN for the Arena tournament, so huge congratulations to him. He's an awesome player and an awesome partner to play with, so I'm just really excited for him and his team. And he's one of the only Holy Priests on the North American ladder. So it's pretty awesome to see Holy Priest in action. So make sure to give him a big thumbs up for being an awesome Holy Priest and for making it to land. But guys, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.